Hi everyone, thanks for checking in with me. This is In Deep on the Delta, and this is the weekly Delta fishing report for the week of March 10th. We're going to really stick to the Delta. Things are moving quick here, and the largemouth are on the upswing. Stripers are kind of leveled out, but we're going to get into that, and we'll start off with the water conditions right now. Visibility for most of the central delta is that standard 3 to 6 feet of visibility. I've gotten some reports from down south that they're only looking at 2 feet of visibility. I think we have had some wind, so if you're fishing the wind-blown areas, you may have a little less visibility, but all in all, throughout the delta, you're going to probably be looking at somewhere 3 to 6 feet of visibility. Perfect conditions. Water temperature, I had one day last week before the cold front moved in. I was in the back of a slough and it just touched 60 degrees. So things are moving to that magic 60 degree temperature pretty quickly. I know we've had some wind that maybe has kept the temperature from rising a whole lot, but what you're going to probably find this week, morning temperatures have been around 55, afternoon temperatures 58. That should raise a degree or two in the next few days as we get the 70 degree weather back. We are dealing with a little bit of a breeze out here, maybe a little bit more than a little bit of breeze, but you know what? This is the Delta, guys. The fishing is starting to catch on out here, so let's not complain about the breeze. Let's just come out and fish in it and catch some fish. So, water conditions are perfect. Start off with the quick striper report. I talked to Jeff Suhu from Suhu Sport Fishing. Jeff's going to start guiding out here again, so last week he was out moving around the Delta, just searching around, looking for fish. And his report was he found a ton of fish. Unfortunately, they weren't all biting. The fishing was just fair. Fish were spread out over the entire delta. He's been trolling and fishing with live bait, and he's catching fish, but just fair. Now, this is a reoccurring theme that Jeff's pick of the week is reoccurring from not only striper fishermen, but largemouth bass fishermen. If you find fish and they're not biting, don't stick with those fish. Don't stick with that particular school. Move around to your spots, the spots that you historically know fish have been in, and they're probably going to be in other areas, and you've got to move around and find the pod or the school of fish that are feeding. So that's Jeff's pick of the week, and we're going to talk about that a little bit more, because like I said, that's been a reoccurring theme from a lot of the anglers that have been sending me reports. The bait shops have reported that the striper fishing this week has dropped a little bit. They're not getting as many reports of guys catching fish. The fish that are coming in have been on the smaller size to under keeper size to just barely schoolie style fish from about 18 to 22 inches. Not a lot of big fish. There's one gentleman, you guys know Junior. There's a lot of juniors out there, but you know who I'm talking about. This is Junior, currently with RB Bass, and he's been out targeting big stripers. He has had some success, and Junior's success has been coming on bone-colored wake baits. He's reporting that the bite isn't fast and furious, but if you stick with those big wake baits, you're going to get quality fish, and a lot of his fish have been double-digit fish, and he's been consistent. Not fast, lots of big numbers, but consistent, getting good-sized fish. Now, Junior and I are going to plan a trip, hopefully next week or so, and he was talking to me about a bait hack that he's been doing, and we're gonna get together, and I think he's gonna give up the juice on what he's doing. And I'll tell you, he's really excited about this bait. He's just been slamming him on him, so he's telling us it's going to change your bass fishing experience. So be watching for that video coming up. And with that, I'll also say Alan Fong was out. I talked to Alan the other day, and he's fishing the North Delta out around the Sacramento River, that area, and he's also searching for big bass. I had just, as I called him, he was out fishing and they had lost a monster. Evidently the man on his boat or the lady on his boat, whoever he had that particular day, just wasn't up to the task of landing a big fish. So his report also has been, the bass are out there. They're not really on a big bite, but if you bear down on them and fish bigger baits, you're probably going to have a chance to hook a really big fish. And those big fish will be coming in more and more. So Before we get into largemouth bass, I'll give you Alan's pick of the week. And although he was out looking for big stripers, his pick of the week is fishing the Delta for largemouth bass. That's Alan's pick of the week. And I also want to talk to you guys, or give you a heads up, Alan's new YouTube channel, or fairly new YouTube channel, he's been out for a few months now, he's starting to do a weekly report. And I think his report is going to come out Tuesdays and Wednesdays, and that's Alan Fong Outdoors, and it's going to be a multi-species report. So it's not going to be bass on the Delta, or it could be bass on the Delta, it could be kokanee fishing, it could be trout fishing up in the mother lode, it could be salmon fishing, sturgeon, halibut, whatever's going on, Alan will be reporting on that particular fishery that's really hot. So check that out, especially you multi-species fishermen should be checking out Alan Fong's outdoor channel, and you're going to get some good information on what's going on. So with that, let's get right into the largemouth bass, and we'll talk about the ABA tournament. Rippin' Lips Williams and his partner, 2 in a row, 2 wins in a row, and Rippin' Lips had 24 and some change. A good bag of fish. Problem is, and I talked to Rob from the Bass Hole. Rob fished the tournament, and he had a so-so tournament. After that 24-pound bag, it dropped off pretty severely really quickly. So it wasn't a great day for everyone out there, and that's what the report is this week. It's just some people are finding feast, some people are finding famine. Myself, I have been day to day, feast, famine, but on a whole, it's moving up. So I'm finding that a lot of the people out here are catching most of their fish, and I know this is kind of not a sexy thing to say, but they're catching a lot of fish on Senkos, just 6-inch Senkos, dragging them on the bottom. The big females are coming in. It seems like daily you'll find some in the shallows, right in 1 foot of water. Other days they're coming out and they're staying in that deep water. There's still a lot of people catching them on power baits like chatter baits and crank baits, sticking with crawdad colors, I've got a fire, what do they call this? I forget, fire claw or whatever it is, chatter bait. And when you're fishing the square bills, everyone's throwing something like this, a square bill biggie to river to sea biggie or something in that Delta craw color. If you want to change off, you can go to a baby bass, or you might want to try a gill type color. But it's across the board what people are doing. I've had some really good reports on people catching big fish on square bills. I know Rob's talking about March Madness, and it is happening to a degree. It's not in full swing. I have started to catch a few fish on square bills and a few fish on chatterbaits, but my number one bait has either been a 6-inch Senko, just rigged T-rig, or I've been getting a lot of fish on a brush hog. Those have been my 2 favorite baits, and I've got fish up to about 5 pounds and a lot of very quality fish, over 3 pounds. One thing I can say about this, when you're fishing these slow-moving baits, the bigger females, when they pick it up, it's the standard bump and move away from the cover that you're fishing, and you really don't feel that strike a whole lot. You just know they're there, and the line's in a spot that it shouldn't be in. It's moving around. You set the hook. Man, I'm telling you, the most fun part of this whole what I call power pitching, and that's what I'm doing. I'm going to do a video. My next video will be not power punching. What is it going to be? It's going to be power pitching the Delta. And I'll tell you why I like this. This time of the year, some of the most fun fish you can catch are these males that are about, the big males, 3, 4, and some 5-pound males. And yes, there are 5-pound males out here. They're the teenagers. And they're the ones that when you're throwing these, even the slower moving baits like a jig or a brush hog, and you move it, they don't pick it up and move with it. Man, they come and they just try to take that rod out of your hand. I mean, they wrap it. And when you set hook on those things, these are like I say, they're the young male teenagers. They're full of fight, they're nasty, and they're very hard fighting, and I love catching those fish. But anyhow, I don't want to get off on a tangent there. So what else can I talk about for the bass fishing? It's day to day. Water temperatures are rising. Throw what you like to throw. There are some guys catching them power fishing with fast moving baits, and other guys just slowing down. My suggestion would be worms and creature style baits. Green pumpkin, black and blue, those colors have been very good for me. What else is going on out here? Oh, again, move around. If you're in a good spot, you think there's fish there, work it, but don't stay there all day. You got to keep moving around and finding the fish that want to bite. And either the low incoming or low outgoing, the last 2 hours of the incoming or the first 2 hours of the low outgoing tide has been a reoccurring theme with almost everybody. It's low tide somewhere. The high tide, they just haven't been biting, perking up like they should. So key in on the low tide, the first couple hours of either the last part of the low tide or when it starts, moving back in or out. So keep that in mind. The fishing is perking up, and the pressure out here has been light. I think, today I went out and there was maybe one person out at Paradise. This weekend there was, maybe 10 boats. Not a lot of pressure out here. So it's a great time to be out here. The weather's getting better. Time to start, maybe not calling in sick, but thinking about going out on the weekends. When it perks up just a little bit more, I'll let you know when it's time to call in sick. So thank you guys for watching. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't subscribed. I'm going to start fishing today. I've caught a couple fish already. Nothing big, but a couple of 3-pound fish. So I think it's going to be a pretty good day today, and I'll let you know how I do next week. We'll see you guys at the report or out here on the river, and thanks for watching.